This is part 2 of section 11.1. We're looking at arc length. An arc length is a portion of the circumference of a circle. You can use the measure of an arc in degrees to find its length in linear units. So we're going to use this proportion. This is what the arc length corollary says. This number down here is always going to be 360. The measure of this central angle is always going to go here. So we have a central angle or an arc measure. Those are the same number. That goes on top, 360 goes on the bottom. Now that gives you the portion of the circle that you're going to use. The circumference of the circle, that's the entire distance around it. That's always circumference. And then if you want the arc length, or have the arc length, that goes there. Okay, might sound confusing. It's actually very, very simple. So we're going to use this proportion to set up this first one. This is the top left example. I'm always going to put 360 here. I know the measure of arc AB is 60 degrees. So I'm doing 60 degrees over 360 total. It's part to whole. That's going to equal the length of the arc, x, in centimeters. I'm going to put that on top here, divided by the circumference of my circle, 2 pi times 8. Out of those three things in blue, you're going to know two of them. That 360 is always going to be there. Let's cross multiply to solve our proportion. I got to multiply those guys, then divide by 360. If you don't have a calculator, get one because you need it. I'm going to type in 2 times pi times 8. Then I'm going to multiply that by 60. Then divide by 360. And this will be my answer, 8.8. And that's in centimeters. That is the length of the arc. Now, if that makes sense to you, use that anytime you want. It's very flexible, that proportion. Okay, what I'm going to explain to you next is another way to do it. For example, this angle right here is 60 degrees. Couldn't you get 6 of those angles to go around the circle? Doesn't 60 go into 366 times? What that means is this arc length is a sixth of the circle's circumference. So the circle's circumference is 16 pi. That's 2 times pi times 8. Take 16 pi divided by 6. Don't you get the same answer? Okay, that's a little different way to do it. Okay, for these next ones, we're just going to fill in the blanks. Put your arc measure over 360. We want the arc length. I'm going to call it x. We're going to divide that by the circumference, 2 pi times 11. Okay, so I'm just typing this in. I end up with 19.20. And that's in centimeters. Okay, we'll do the same thing for this last problem. My arc measure is 120. My radius is 15. My arc length is what I need to find. Multiply those, divide by 360. And I get 31.42. And that number should look familiar to you. This number is actually 10 pi. That's the number pi with the decimal shifted one place to the right. And that should make sense to you. Look at your central angle. See how it's 120? Isn't that a third of the circle? Your circumference of your circle is 2 pi times 15. That's 30 pi. That's the entire circle circumference. What's a third of it? What's 30 pi divided by 3? 10 pi. I did that in my head. Pretty easy. Okay, now we're going to run through some other examples here where your unknown might not be the arc length. We know the measure of the arc is 40. They tell us the length of this arc is 4.19 inches. What you don't have is circumference. Okay, well, you can find it. Cross multiply. Multiply those guys and then divide by 40. Okay, make sure you type it in and you're getting what I'm getting. 4.19 times 360 gives me a number. I'm dividing that by 40. This gives me 37.71. Okay, so remember what I told you before. Out of those 4 numbers in your proportion, there's 3 empty spots because 360 always stays there. And 2 of those 3 empty spots, you're going to have the numbers for. You have to solve for what you don't have. That's why the proportion is nice to use, because it's very flexible. This time we want the measure of the arc. So we'll call that x. That's this guy. We have the arc length. We have the radius. I'm going to cross multiply. Whoopsies. Not like that. Oh no. Let's try that again. I'm going to cross multiply here and then divide by that guy. Type it in, make sure you're getting what I'm getting. I'm doing 44 times 360. Now I'm going to divide that by, use parentheses if you're hitting the division button. If you're using alpha x, you're okay. If you're hitting divide, you better use parentheses. This gives me 164.99. And this is an arc measure. It's in degrees. Okay, the next 3, I'm just going to set up the proportion. Not actually going to cross multiply. You can do that on your own. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, so this guy's going here, this guy's going here, this guy's going here. Put your angle measure there. That 9 is my diameter. That means my circumference is 9 pi. I want the length of that arc. That's my x. Okay, second one. They give me the 61.26 as my arc length. The measure goes there. I'm solving for circumference. Okay, last one. My angle goes there. My arc length goes there. This is my circumference. Now, when I solve for that circumference, I still have to find radius. So whatever I get for circumference, make sure you divide it by 2 pi. Do it in parentheses if you're hitting division. If you're using the alpha x, you don't need the parentheses.